Hi guys, I'm artist Medea. So basically I'm going to be talking about my art practices and the fact that Banksy recent site-specific street art installation is on my doorstep, like literally 2 steps from where I live, which is amazing. This happened in March 17, Sunday, early in the morning. Banksy Archive were the first ones to post about the new Banksy piece. Perspicier artist messaged me that there is a Banksy on the street 2 minutes away from the house, so I went out to see it. I was one of the first ones to actually witness this artwork of Banksy, this installation, amongst with few photographers like Shoreditch Street Art Tours, LDN Graffiti. On this video you can see how I sketch Banksy street art installation from 17th of March until around 30th of March. In the first 2 days it was amazing, it was so beautiful, intact. Then everything started, the whole circus started with people peeling off the parts of the artwork, parts of the character, parts of the wall where the green drips are, splashing white paint on the wall, trying to deface the mural. The artwork is quite complex. It's with ecological message because it's a tree which branches are cut, and then the character is holding a chemical pressure spray sprayed behind the tree on the wall of the building with green paint as if it's the crown of the tree. To me it's also very poetic, like it looked really beautiful. Now the situation is different. Islington Council and the owner of the building on which Banksy painted are building nobody knows what. Entire London is laughing at the whole situation at the moment, but they're building some weird construction with wood and perspex to protect the Banksy installation. Already it looks like temporary wooden house which is surrounding the tree, and the character of Banksy is covered in perspex, plus halfway the green splashes on the wall are covered with perspex. Half the higher part of the green splashes are not covered, and people start joking with the whole situation, being angry. It looks really ugly. Much more ugly than if it was just left to be, and probably graffiti artists and street artists just respond to Banksy piece. But it seems it's all about money, so whoever is trying to protect this Banksy piece wants benefit for themselves, which is quite sad. But probably Banksy knew this when he was creating this piece. I think it's he. Not sure. I've heard stories that it's he, but anyway, that doesn't matter at the moment. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting situation. I sketched it kind of all through the process of the beginning until 26th of March, with some days in which I wasn't there. But I captured maybe one of the main points of when Banksy site-specific installation was new and intact, and later when all this circus started happening with people building temporary construction on the installation of Banksy. You can also see on the video me sketching. So basically these are the first sketches. This is a day before Banksy officially confirmed his piece. So it's March 17, Sunday. This is the second day for me, the first official day of Banksy site-specific installation, which Banksy confirmed on his Instagram. So this was when everyone arrived from everywhere. Journalists, people, everyone. Even Jeremy Corbyn arrived. Apparently he lives somewhere in the neighborhood here. So this is the first official day. As you could see on the video in the beginning, it was quite empty because that was the first day when me and few people went to see this artwork. And nobody knew it's Banksy, so people weren't even stopping to check what's going on that wall and with that tree. Only a few of us knew and also weren't very sure, but some were sure. LDN Graffiti was sure. Perspicier artist was sure. I still can't believe that I have Banksy just 2 steps from me, and I feel quite sad that they decided to cover it with perspex and temporary wooden building. You can't really see anymore the work very well because it's blocked from this temporary wooden building they built with windows and everything, walls. It's quite crazy. It's in a garden, which is supposed to be just a garden space, isn't it? I call it Little Banksy Museum or Banksy in Fish Tank. But anyway, on the video here you can see me sketching. I documented 7 days plus minus of all this Banksy event where I sketched and I was videoing my process of sketching. So that's why I just decided to make it a longer video, just not edit too much and make it as short as possible. That's why it's on YouTube as well. Instagram doesn't allow such a long videos, isn't it? So you can see here I keep sketching. This is a charcoal sketch. The guy next to me is another artist who is sketching as well, DLM Doodles. So he joined the entire thing day and sometime after me. He got very inspired to document the whole thing more regularly than me. To me, it was just interesting to capture all the development. I even didn't know that this would happen, to be honest. I thought that they are going to leave the piece to the natural causes and graffiti and street artists would respond to this piece. But the situation became quite different and quite social commentary and target of angry comments and symbol of greed in terms of whoever wants to own this Banksy. But yeah, I'm an artist, multidisciplinary, but in these recent years, since I live in London since 4 years, I focus a lot on live sketching and live painting, probably because I just have pure love about drawing and painting, especially from life. So for me, I just sketch and paint everything what is interesting for me. It's not just one subject or one technique I use either. So I can sketch musicians, I can sketch pubs, I can sketch cityscapes, landscapes, seascapes, you name it, still life or just abstract drawings inspired from reality. I do get inspired from reality, so probably this is why I live sketch from what I see, which doesn't mean that I only use the reality. Of course, my drawings and paintings have big percentage of imagination because you can see I have a style. It's not super realistic drawing with tints and shades, all the realistic means you have to use to make a realistic painting or drawing. It's more stylized on my own way. So this is my vision as an artist. To me, I like just to depict things which I find interesting and then depict them through my own style, mainly with rhythms of lines, shapes, patterns, colors where they are present. Then these sketches I can transfer on anything because this is how I always worked. For me, my sketches are prototypes for my paintings and my artworks. Further, they can become anything. I can work with them on endless ways. Maybe this is why I leave them simple as well. Most of them, not all of them, with just a single line. People compare me to great artists such as Picasso, Matisse, Keith Haring, Mold 2, basically everyone who is either using a line or sketches from life or has subjects such as dancing people or people playing music or, you know, like all sorts of beautiful comparisons with amazing artists. So I'm really thankful when I hear this stuff. I use all different techniques as well to keep challenging myself as an artist. I love to keep experimenting with different materials for drawing and sometimes inventing my own. I love experimenting with techniques and inventing my own as well. This comes probably from my background as a fiber artist. In my university, they taught us to experiment with materials and I really like that. So whether I'll be drawing with black ink or textile material or non-textile material, the main idea is that I'm going to draw with whatever I have in my hands. Here on the video you can see also DNZ making like a performance. He just entered and threw apples on the grass and then put his basket on the top of the tree on which is written DNZ, which is his nickname. The security walked after him and it became like performance. But yeah, this was just the beginning of what later happened with this installation of Banksy. On the next day, they basically started building all this madness by putting perspex on the character and then half of the wall, and after that around the tree building wooden wall. Oh yeah, also putting the fences first around the tree because people were climbing on the tree. I don't agree with that part. Maybe they could just put that sign, don't climb on the tree, make a little path to Banksy, perspex only the character and leave it like this, but they just keep building entire building there now. Anyway, here I sketch with black ink, brush pen, another sketch of many I've done of Banksy site-specific installation. I've done so far, as I can remember, 16 sketches on paper, different techniques, which represent from day one when nobody almost knew that this is a Banksy on Hornsey Rd. Until 2 days ago, March 26th, maybe I sketched for the last time. Now it's March 28th. These drawings you can see through the entire video. They are following chronologically the days. Again, I try to document what's happening and also add something from me in my drawings. So it's not just a mere documentation of what I see, because I refuse to be associated with being an artist who just, a sketcher who is just sketching what I see, because that's not the truth. It's more of artistic vision. I just use the reality as inspiration, then I add from my own vision as an artist to it. Through my sketches, I try to depict the energy and abstract rhythms of particular moment in time and space. Here on the video, this is when they start putting the perspex on the character. I happened to be there and managed to video and sketch this interesting, I would call it sarcastically, performance. So this is when it all started, because people started peeling off Banksy character. They peeled part of the chemical pressure spray tip, the nozzle they peeled off, and also patch of the wall of the green drips. So because of this, they just decided, okay, the Islington Council and the owner of the building, we need to protect this, So this is when they started. This is the beginning. Before that, the fences were there because of the, I guess, climbing people on the tree. And yeah, again, let's protect the art. But who sees art? Who sees just pure thousands and millions of pounds? It's a big question. So I keep enjoying the process and sketching it with my own style. I like to focus on the people. To me, yes, something is happening, it's interesting, but more and more through the years, I just start focusing on the people in my sketches. So this is a Banksy mural I'm trying to depict, but I also like to depict what people are doing around it. This specific sketch is just some kind of slide of interesting comics where they are doing something criminal themselves, probably the owner of the building and Islington Council. I don't know. It's so interesting to experience this in the middle of the late evening. These people arrive with the van and start just working in the darkness to cover Banksy character. So I'm just depicting this procedure and enjoying the process of drawing. I love drawing with one line, just simple, black and white, because it allows me to depict more details and patterns and whatever I want to extract from the reality for my artwork. And later, as I said, I use these sketches as many things. They can be transferred on canvas, they can be transferred as a mural art, or just parts of them can be transferred as designs for something else. And I really enjoy this process. To me, yes, this is the prototype drawing, which I don't touch the prototype. But then I can make so many versions out of it just because I have it. So I can scan it, I can do whatever I want with it. I can make it as a textile design, I can make it as t-shirt print, whatever really. People usually are asking me, are you going to color it later? Well, usually not. Sometimes I just decide to play with colors directly on my prototype, or I make colorful prototypes. But every artwork of mine so so far drawing like this has lines, and they are the construction of my artwork or drawing. When I have these defined lines, I can use them and I can change the colors, scan the work, change the colors, This just gives me ability, whether my drawing is colorful or black and white, I can still use it for further projects. Some sketches, I call them painted sketches, which I have. Some of them don't have lines. That's rare, but some of them don't. But this is still not really preventing me of using them. Of course, depends. If it's completely made out of brush strokes, then maybe I would leave it like this. Maybe it's just painting on paper, but that's rare when I do them like this. I do this more on the canvas or the mural. I started to do this kind of sketches firstly in 2015 when I was on Hawaii for the second time. But really, I've been sketching all my life. I'm 37 now, so I've been sketching literally all my life. At the age of 11 was the first time when I came up with the line sketches like this with just simple charcoal. It just developed. I've been always using prototype drawings for my canvases, and I used mainly charcoal or pencil because it's the quickest, because I'm mainly painting artist. Although I studied fiber art, the two things were always hand by hand. Firstly, me as a painter and drawing artist, and then me as the artist who experiments with any kind of material, technique, subject matter. That's why the fiber art was interesting for me to experience and follow for many years. It gave me quite a lot different broad perspective and vision about art and how I can treat it, how I can use techniques and everything. The sketches were always with me. They just developed a bit more. In 2015, they start developing into these illustrative, detailed drawings. Because in 2015 and 16, I was on Hawaii on my Fulbright visiting researcher program for 7 months, and I was on Oahu, and my camera wasn't with me because I forgot it on Maui in an art gallery there. It's not only that my camera is not good quality and the battery dies quickly, but I also forgot it on another island, Hawaiian island. So I was on Oahu, North Shore, where is the famous Sunset Beach, the 4 Miles Miracle, the famous surfer spot. And I didn't have anything to document it with, didn't have camera to take photos. So I had paper and pencils with me, and I decided to sketch it. But for the first time, I didn't want to sketch it just a generic quick sketch as a painter would do, like the old masters did, like quick, not that much detailed, just quick sketch for your canvas, but a bit more detailed, a bit more illustrative, so I can actually capture what I'm witnessing with the waves, with the surfers who are surfing the waves. That wasn't easy in the beginning, to sketch a wave with one line and surfers and the beach with the people, the whole scenery. It took me quite a bit of concentration, but once I did it, then I couldn't stop. I did many sketches like this, which were a bit more illustrative, again to say, a bit more detailed than my usual few lines sketches for my canvas on just little piece of paper. Then these sketches developed into this A3 size, because A3 size is very nice to work on, apparently. I discovered through practice again. Bigger paper can add more details and more of the surroundings. I just decided to sketch with pencil on A3 size paper, and I have such sketches for the first time in 2017 on my third visit of Hawaii. But then I kind of stopped because I went back to my university. I was working there as hourly paid university teacher of painting. But in 2018, I again used this approach of sketches where I'm sketching on A3 size paper with just a charcoal or pencil, single line drawing. And because I added the margins and caption on the bottom where I created the sketch, what was the event, I did this kind of sketch in a pub for the first time in 2018, around March. And the owner of the pub asked me, am I selling those? So I was like, yes, I guess I'm selling. This is when my sketches became what they look like now, as if they are just finished artworks artworks by themselves with the margins, with the caption, detailed illustrations. I call them sketches because this is where they originated from. They capture the quickness of the moment, the essence of the moment. So in this sense, it is a sketch, but it's also quite detailed, so it is also an illustration. It takes longer to create than what would a simple sketch take. Sometimes they're quicker, sometimes they're slower, depends on the details, depends on the technique and materials I'm using, but they became like artworks on their own. I still transfer them on canvases and everything else, as I said, isolate characters from them or isolate just designs from them. This is why I'm doing them as well. I mean, they have this potential on purpose. From 2018, I really developed these simple sketches of mine on a little piece of paper with few lines to these detailed illustration sketches. I should call them more correctly. And I've been creating them since then. Since 2020 summertime, I moved here in London. So since then, up to now, I have probably between 600 and 800 artworks on paper, original. I offer prints, all sorts, as well as canvases and anything really, because as I said, my drawings are my prototypes for further artwork creation, as well as their artworks by themselves. I have so many artworks on paper basically collected here in my studio in London, which depict London life. Wherever I go, I sketch. I always take my art materials, no matter where I go. Even if I don't sketch, I will take my art materials. Sometimes I take my iPad or my paper and pencils or whatever I decide I want to use to sketch on, but I always take them. And so I have vast amount of sketches of London, different music events, different places, different events in general. The music events are maybe predominant. I love sketching musicians playing, but this is not the only one thing I'm doing. But yeah, I have a lot of music event sketches around London. I have a lot of sketches from New Orleans as well, because last year in 2023 I went to Jazz Fest in New Orleans on purpose to sketch it. So I did 60 sketches of New Orleans Jazz Fest, and New Orleans itself, it was an amazing experience. That was a dream come true. I always wanted to go there and do this. I was there for around 25 days, so 60 sketches. Yeah, I almost didn't have time to sleep, basically, because it was so busy, it was so lively. Always there is a music there, with or without Jazz Fest. It's just non-stop. Amazing people, amazing experience to visit New Orleans as an artist. But yeah, I have these sketches as well, and wherever I go I just draw, so I collected a lot of originals. I sold a lot of originals. As you can imagine, I'm a full-time artist, self-employed. I depend on my income as an artist. To me, it's important to manage to sell my art. It's also important to mention that I never sell on the go. I always make the artwork, make the connections on place, and then I bring my artwork in my art studio in London, UK, where I clean it up, I finish it up, I varnish it or fix it with fixative spray. I scan it, I prepare it, package it, and then I ship it to the client. Or if the client lives in London, we meet here if they prefer. But I never sell on the go. Through the years, since I've been in London permanently, I sold quite a lot of my originals. I received quite a lot of art commissions because I'm open for art commissions as well. And I'm really appreciative for both the fact that people would buy my originals for all different reasons, because they are on the sketch, or because they been to the event or been to the place I sketched, or just because they like the vibe of my sketches, or commission me as live sketching, live painting artist, or commission me to sketch or paint from their photographs. That's easy. Like once you know how to sketch from life or paint from life, sketching and painting from photos or videos is just like a child's game. I've been just collecting all these originals because I'm so productive. I do sell, but then I also collect because I keep creating almost every day. I've been searching for art gallery who would like to organize a solo show with my artworks on paper, just as a retrospective of what I've created since these 4 years and a half I've been living in London. I think it will be interesting. But I really don't want to pay a rent, and I really want to be invited from a professional art gallery, not just some random gallery who would earn money on the back of the artist by charging them rent, because I'm an artist who is with long professional history as such. I always was lucky to do what I love, which is art, always practicing since forever. For me, it's important to stay this way. No matter that I moved to London from Bulgaria, Sofia, and I'm basically nobody here, to me it's important to keep building my portfolio as a professional artist. So if I ever manage here anytime soon to be invited from a decent art gallery who would exhibit art like mine, would be amazing. My first and second solo shows were in Bulgaria, in Sofia, in 2 different galleries. They were quite successful shows. My first solo show was in a professional, renowned contemporary art gallery, Arusita, and I exhibited 300 sketches. The show was called London in Sketches 2018 because in 2018 I was in London for quite a few months, plus the entire summer, and I had the chance to draw a lot, stay in a hostel in Shoreditch, and then draw every day and night. And that was my first solo show, with sketches from London in this art gallery in Sofia, with 300 sketches from which they were all on paper with charcoal or pencil. A few of them were with pen on paper, but mainly pencil and charcoal, black and white sketches on paper, A3 size. So I covered the entire walls of the gallery like wallpaper with my drawings. It was quite interesting experience to enter the gallery and see all these drawings just covered the walls everywhere. It was a successful show. People bought my works, quite a few of them. The gallery was willing to keep working with me. Other galleries got interest in me. My second solo show was with my paintings in Doze Gallery, and it was also very successful in 2019. But then I arrived here in London, where I started from the beginning again. It seems when you're an artist, when you move countries, it's not necessarily visible if you're a professional artist and you already have some achievements behind you. You're just nobody, really. This is my experience a little bit, but I don't want to sound negative. So anyway, I'm doing my best. I work a lot. I'm very hardworking. I keep drawing every day, keep challenging my vision as an artist. So since I've been in London, I just keep being open for different ideas as well. I love mural art, street art. I'm quite influenced from street art and graffiti art, so I'm trying to incorporate them in my work as well. It's an interesting journey to be in London after you already had some serious art career going on. Come here and start from the beginning. See that people like your work, they buy it, they love what you do, you keep creating it. The only thing which keeps remaining for me dream is the art gallery, which will maybe one day invite me for a solo show and I can show the world all these drawings I've done so far. By then they'll be just remaining hidden in my art studio, and that's it. This will be it, isn't it? It's so strange because, again, I'm an artist who is live sketching, live painting mainly, and then I live on Hornsey Rd, and 2 steps from me is Banksy, real Banksy. I never had such experience in my life. When I first understood this, I got goosebumps. I was next to the piece when it got confirmed. Even the day before, when I was there at 11 a.m. just to see the work and wander around with few street art photographers, thinking and speaking to each other, is it Banksy or not? Going closer to this artwork and looking at the character, at the portraiture, at the level of proficiency and intricacy of the way this mural is painted. Yes, it's just a splash of green paint and then a stencil, but it's so well done. Banksy has this amazing, simple technique, but treating it on a very personal way, because he's touching up the stencil, he's touching up the painted probably with chemical pressure spray, green paint. He doesn't rely only on technique by itself to create the imagery. He's touching it up with brushes, with whatever, to personalize it, to have the personal touch on it, you know? It's visible. It's just beautiful. So to me, it was a great honor to actually have the opportunity to experience fresh Banksy just around. It doesn't matter that it's close to me, actually, just to experience fresh Banksy. The paint was still wet when I was there the first day. It was still wet. I could smell it. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy experience. Just unforgettable. I took photos, I took videos, I created sketches. Yeah, sadly, just 2 days after the work was revealed, all this circus started with people trying to protect it. I was more curious to see how graffiti and street artists would respond to this Banksy artwork than see it being protected from anyone. But probably it's not too late. I guess there will be response from graffiti and street artists in the near future, you know? All this CCTV and bodyguards and people just securing this area with Banksy as if it is border. It's really quite like a sarcastic joke. A street art not street art. Banksy is basically a graffiti artist who originated from graffiti art. His art is vandalist. It has vandalist nature like every other graffiti and street art, especially graffiti. But at the same time, Banksy is accepted because he became so famous for his art, but it still remains vandalist. It still remains with that unbroken connection with the graffiti. But all the authorities, everyone will protect Banksy art, but if somebody tags the wall next to Banksy piece or puts a street art probably, they will just try to cover it or judge it, although it's the absolutely same thing. So there is this paradox about the perception. Just because Banksy is so famous and his art costs money now, because obviously his ideas in his art are amazing, so that's a big reason why he's so famous. But there are also other amazing street and graffiti artists, but they won't receive the same respect just because probably their art won't earn that much money. There is this really strange paradox about the whole thing called graffiti and street art. But anyway, this is my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you understood at least some of what I said, because my English is not perfect. Please leave comments and we can talk further about this video I've done. I hope you also are interested not only in Banksy, what I showed here as videos and photos and documentation of how things developed from day one until 10 days later. I hope you're interested also in my art and art practices. If you are, my Instagram is Artist Medea, same like my YouTube channel. And I also have website medeaiankova.com. It's all mentioned in this YouTube video, written and mentioned. If you like what I do as an artist, please follow me, hit the like on this video. I'm open for art commissions. I also really enjoy when people buy my works randomly, not only because they can see themselves in my work or they know the place or been to the event or know the event, but because they just like how I depicted whatever I sketched, or just because of the sake of what my artwork can make them feel. Many people buy my work for many different reasons. For example, because it radiates liveliness, it gives them just this feeling of joy and energy, not only because I'm depicting something specific, you know. I do appreciate people who would buy my work for these reasons as well. So the other day I was out with Perspicier artist who put a string art piece with a tree, which is as response to Banksy tree on Hornsey Rd. His piece is opposite of Banksy tree on the building, close to the building of Banksy on the same street. This shows that street artists start responding to Banksy site-specific installation. And I managed to sketch this in a sketch which I did on a tube map. I managed to add the artwork of Perspicier artist and Banksy on the same sketch, where I also show the street and the people walking on the street looking at the pieces, and I did it through bent perspective. Perspicier artist tree is saying that since Banksy tree is all fenced up and packaged and covered with perspex and walls, and it's not anymore visible as it should be, Perspicier artist is offering alternative tree which is not covered with perspex or blocked from walls and all sorts of fences. There is also little brick sculpture of Ronzo on the wall where Banksy painted the mural, and also graph in green color of Arctic, which is next to Banksy wall as well. These are also graffiti artists and street artists who respond to Banksy piece. It's very interesting to be able to witness all this process around Banksy site-specific street art installation. Although it's all covered with walls and all sorts of fences, artists still find way to respond to all this. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll try to be consistent with videos like this, make more in the near future. Thank you.